Hey
I've got
guys.
I've got nothing to say.
Whatever, Bob.
No,
You've always got something to say.
Oh,
Hey Margaret, how are you doing this evening?
good. How are you doing?
I'm doing
ju-
good. Y'all have a good Memorial Day.
yeah,
Yep, nice, relaxing Memorial
had a
Day.
good one.
Just let
And
Yep.
just
everybody
so
know that's why we weren't on. We were relaxing for Memorial Day.
is that what you're doing? Yeah.
Extended.
Just so everybody knows, down there is Brian, over there is Margaret, and everybody knows me. I,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the
This
one.
is
I'm the one
Bob.
that really don't care what they say. So anyway, tonight's show. Let's talk about tonight's show. This is
Yes,
gonna
sir.
be, man. You guys hit me with this topic. I think it was you, Margaret. No, it was Brian. Brian hit me with this topic, and my head just went, wow. Why do dogs go after their handler? Man, there's so many different reasons.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to start it off by saying one thing. You give a man a leash and he thinks he's a dog trainer, and 9 times out of 10, they have no idea how to handle that leash properly. They have no idea how to read a dog. All they know is, let's just start jerking this dog around and see what happens. And I will elaborate on that here in a little bit. But let's get everybody back up here. And I'm going to let Brian, Brian's trained a lot of protection dogs. Margaret's trained protection dogs. Not quite as many as Brian and I.
No.
But there's a lot of different factors that come into training a protection dog and what we do. In this show, I'm not gonna touch base on just why did dogs go after their owners. I'm gonna go after. I'm gonna tell you all about the signs. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about reading your dog. I'm gonna tell you a little bit of acting too fast. But I'm gonna let Brian start this off. Make me proud, Weed Hopper.
So this question was posed to me by another person, and I thought it would be a great idea to handle on the show. In all of my years of experience and working with dogs, the only time I have had dogs come up at me was because when I was too tight and too nervous or being too aggressive. You know, once the dog figures out that it can bait you into getting tight and getting nervous with that leash, it becomes a game to the dog. Correcting a dog is like running an offensive play. You want to try to make sure that it's slick and done quick and done with efficiency. If you keep doing the same thing repetitively over and over, that dog learns to develop a defensive play to that and will turn around and react to that. And if you're not ready for that reaction, you've just got baited into the dog's game,
So would you say
a
that?
dog's favorite game. I'll give
Would
it
you?
back to you, Bob. Here you go.
No, I just want to ask you a question. Would you call that a frustrated reaction?
I would.
Yeah.
It's getting anxious and it's getting mad, and it's typically because the owner's holding the leash too tight. Or in my case, it was me. I was nervous and I was holding that leash tight, and I was sending those vibes straight down that leash.
So
And
then the dog was reading you.
right. And you just get baited into that game. And you
Hmm.
wonder why all of a sudden this dog's coming back up. I'm sure that we've all had a boss at some point that just kept us under their thumb so much that we couldn't even perform. There was no room to breathe and work and do what they wanted us to do because they were breathing down our necks so hard the whole time.
Asking too much of a dog too soon.
Right. Yeah. being overbearing.
Would you agree that a dog will naturally try to figure out his way out of a conflict?
Oh yeah, dogs are great at that, man. Oh, they're so good at doing that.
You want to elaborate?
I mean,
I don't want to put you on the spot, Brian.
dogs are
I'll elaborate on it.
All right.
I'll elaborate on it. A conflict. I'm not talking about a handler. Everybody thinks, well, it's a professional handler. It could be a professional trainer. It could be a professional handler in a ring sport, Schutzen, IPO dogs, French ring, whatever. I'll back it all the way down to a groomer, because at that time she's handling your dog.
Yep.
So, like I said, when this topic come up, it just screwed my head all up. So, and believe it or not, folks, I even took notes this time. I wrote some stuff down. And I'm going to ask
problem.
everybody that listens to this, or who we have on right now, whether you're bathing a dog or you're brushing your dog, the first warning you're ever going to get, we call it the head turn. Like, that bothers me. Don't do that. Right? 9 times out of 10, the owner with no experience lets up on it. So the dog won.
Mm-hmm.
And when the dog wins, that builds his confidence. Well, then later on down the road, now the owner's going to try it again. This time he's going to try holding the dog, and he's going to go to it. Now you may get the growl. You better knock that off. With the head turn, next thing you're going to get the head turn snapping growl. It's not that the dog wants to eat you alive. He's telling you, knock it the hell off. Now, is it because you've never done it to your dog before? And now all of a sudden you're digging into this dog with a brush, trying to rip mats out of it? You would do the same thing. So, at that time, you got to jolly that dog out of it. You got to show him that brush. Because at first, he is going to target the brush. He is not targeting you. But if you keep doing it, it's going to go from the brush to you.
Right.
It's going to target the object that's giving him discomfort first.
Yep.
And now I'm going to turn it back over to you, Brian. Or Margaret.
Margaret, you want to say?
Yes. I'll tell you something. First thing I think, so you guys are coming from the protection dog, angle and type of angle. I'm coming from a kind of a different thought angle.
Okay.
Tell us about it, Margaret.
And I had a dog come up on me that, he talks about handler error. This big shepherd out in the country got built confidence in running back and forth at the fence line, barking at people, growling at people. He got confidence in his aggression. So then therefore, slowly but surely he got aggressive with people coming over. So what are shepherds? They're originally herding dogs. They need a job to do. If you don't give them a job to do, guess what? They're going to find one to do.
Yep.
And I go over there, and the company I worked for hadn't told him to get a muzzle ahead of time, and get him used to it. So he came home with the muzzle. I just got there for our first lesson. I you should have had it a week ago and been getting him used to wearing it,
Right.
But I said, let's take him outside. I'll tell you what to do. and that kind of thing. So I wanted to see how he was walking. So I was walking along with him, kind of as a pack down the street, and I said, "Give me the leash." So we started walking together, and then we stopped, and I said, "Sit," and I was looking away from him, and he was right here, and I saw the look in his eyes, and I said, "You need to take the leash right now." Right when he went to take the, yeah, right when he went to take the leash, the dog came right up at me. He took the dog and pulled him, and he got into my skin, but I got a bite there. But that was a don't tell me what to do, screw you
Right.
type thing.
A
Now,
dominant aggression.
again, like I was saying, number one, I would have handled that situation a little bit different than you.
Probably, yeah.
As far as no, I'm not saying as far as stringing the dog up. No,
Oh, no, no, no.
I bring it all back to owners. Now, let me tell you, if you want a good working dog, I'm going to tell you a way to have a fantastic working dog. Y'all ain't going to like it, but you know me, I really don't give a shit. But anyway, owners over the years, and believe me, folks, I've trained thousands upon thousands of dogs, and it's all owners. Why would you discipline your child and put structure in that child's life and the proper amount of discipline with the proper amount of love and affection, but you won't do it to your own dog? I'm going to wait for an answer on that from somebody. Um, it's just, I just can't figure this out. As soon as you get a puppy, you better put that puppy in his place right from the damn get go. And
Grandparent syndrome.
you won't be having these problems that we're speaking about now. I
Mm-hmm.
know of owners getting tore up by their own dog. I've had enough. Why? Because the owners don't have a clue what they're getting themselves into.
Right.
Discipline, 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 discipline. And the dog is saying, show me the right damn way to do it, and I'll do it.
Right.
It's like you get picked on by an individual a certain amount of times, and you're going to lash out.
Yep.
You're just going to lash out. You may be afraid of that person at first, but damn it, enough is enough.
You
And
get
you're going
used
to
to it.
lash out.
You
Now,
build up confidence. All it was
it
talk.
is it is frustration on the dog's part is why they start the reactive behavior, a little nip, a little this, a little of that. You want a good dog? When you get a puppy, now this is where people are going to hate me. They're going to god dang hate me. But if you want a good dog, put that dog in a kennel. And when you take him out, he's on a leash and he will listen to your direction. You dictate to your dog. The
Lead.
dog does not dictate to you. Oh, mama, I want a cookie. Come on, bark, 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 bark. And what do the owners do? They give in. No. Dog goes to snap. You're not going to do your commands right. Fine. You're going in the kennel. They go to snap at you. Drop the leash and ignore that damn dog for an hour and a half. And you watch what happens. See, the dog needs this. Without you, the dog doesn't know what to do.
Right.
So, all I'm saying is put the dog in a kennel. You take him out. You teach that dog how to behave. You're done. You put him back in his kennel. Later on, you take him out of the kennel again and you put him through
Or dance.
what you want him to do. You're going
Or
to sit at
dance.
this door before you go out. You're going to sit at my feet to accept praise. You're going to sit to accept praise. You're just not going to walk up to my guest You're going to wait till I say make friends. If you don't do that and you're hit and miss and you're not consistent, you're I don't know what the hell you're doing.
The dog
You
will
know,
assume control.
I really didn't want to get into the point as far as if you want to you can have a good working dog is a family dog,
I do. I have
but
two.
you want a dog that's going to respond the first time you ask, and he knows
Hmm.
what's expected of him. You'll do what I just told you.
Well,
If you
the dog I just showed you, he wasn't shown anything, right? Yeah, I told you about him. He was just ignored, thrown in a crate, and just not even shown any structure whatsoever. So he
He
could have
became a
ended
problem.
up, he could have ended up just like, that other shepherd I ran into, thrown out in the yard and just, but this is him right here. And he could have turned out the other way.
you
Right.
know what this show is about is dogs coming up. I'm not going to tell you how to raise a dog, how to give a proper correction, because I don't know your dog.
Every dog.
So by me telling you to do it this way, I might be completely wrong because the temperament, the personality, whatever of your, I don't know what went on in your dog's past.
Effective
So
correction.
I'm not even going to go there. But what I am going to go with is why does a dog go after a handler? Number one, unfair corrections.
Hmm.
What do I mean by an unfair correction, Brian?
Poorly timed.
Timing is the second part of it. And a correction that wasn't really warranted at that time.
Right.
Okay. Um, why will a dog do it? I mentioned this earlier. Out of frustration.
Right.
He's got to take that frustration out somewhere. He's going to grab the leash. He's going to fight against the leash. He knows that's where it comes from. And it boils all back to the handler.
They would do the
I've
same thing
had,
with a newspaper or a stick. If you keep swinging the newspaper or the stick at the dog is going to eventually bite at the paper and the stick. And then it's going to bite at you because it figures out that you're holding that newspaper or that stick.
well, I've had dogs that I've grabbed the leash. I see that the owners have the leash. He's always grabbing the leash and he wants to play and pull. No, he's not playing. He
Right.
knows that's where his discipline. People,
Dogs are
this
win or lose.
does not happen overnight. Learn to read your dog. If you can read a dog correctly, you got it made. But I'll take the leash and he'll grab it and I'll hold the leash by the handle and he'll let go 90% of the time. Because at that point he knows, okay, this guy's calm and everything, and he lets go. It calms the dog down.
Yep.
Um, Again, I'm going to touch base on the owner has to dictate the dog's behavior. The dog does not dictate to the owner. And
Right.
that's where a lot of families have their problems.
Yep. You
Um,
have to keep an upbeat, positive attitude. You can't let it turn into frustration and anger.
Now, the dog, he's going to get torqued a little bit if he gets unwarranted corrections.
I
Um,
would too.
I mean, unwarranted behavior from the owners. The dog may be afraid and it's self defense. It's a
Yep.
nip. You know, if a dog nips, it's a warning, but put a stop to it. Because if it continues, it's going to escalate and it's going to escalate and it escalates. Dog bites, and I want everybody out there to take notes of this shit. Dog bites happen from conflict. There's got to be conflicting command, conflicting. I want to do this. No, you're going to do this, and it comes down to mistiming of your corrections. Um, how does this start? Let me tell you how it starts. You can put all of us back on there, Margaret.
All right.
How this starts. Owners, stop fighting with your puppies. Everybody thinks it's cute. Oh, look, he's showing teeth, and you keep going at him. How do you know that dog is dead serious? Leave me alone.
Right.
But people keep doing it. Okay. It's just like when I use, and I'm going to show everybody,
Agitation is not a
a
love
tug.
language.
A tug. This is my tug that I use with my dogs.
Right.
Okay.
Tug rope. Tug.
When when do I want that dog to play with this? When do I not want this dog to play with this? It's
When he's
controlling the
happy.
bite. It's controlling the aggression. Okay, we played a little bit, let it go, drop,
Yep.
or cut. You're
Out.
controlling it. He got his play. A lot of people, oh, look at the puppy, and the puppies, oh, isn't he cute? Look at him. Hey, that puppy could be dead serious. Dead serious. And you keep doing this. And what's going to happen when that dog, still a puppy at 9 months old? Now the dog's biting you, and what do? Get rid of him.
Right.
You started the damn problem.
Yes. Thank you.
You
Thank you.
started it. Teach the puppy if you want to play with an object and teach him a cut command or drop it.
Very good.
And let the puppy go, then praise him, good boy. Then play with him again. Let him get his little bite, drop it, good puppy. All right? So you're starting right from the beginning.
Positive
This
reinforcement.
does not have to be for protection work only. A
No.
lot of, oh, if I play tug of war with my dog, it's going to make him mean. Not if you know what you're doing.
Right.
You
Right.
can teach a puppy to become possessive aggressive that way.
That's right.
And I'll, there it is. But it's teaching them this is a game. Now the game is over. Now stop it.
Just like you would with your kid. No different.
So I really don't care.
There you are.
You ready for this one, Brian?
Knock my socks
Reading.
off, Bob.
Reading your dog
The
is
hardest thing.
more important than giving your dog a correction.
Right.
Why?
Because you need to know what phase of learning that dog is in. Does it
No.
really know it, or is it being obstinate? What's the
Read.
question there?
Learn to read the dog. If you can read your dog, you'll be okay. Now, I brought this up earlier. It's a working dog line. Arco.
Crazy.
Badass Belgian Malinois. Puppies coming out of this dog go after the handler.
Everything. Malligators,
But
man.
the thing is, getting a puppy, you think it's all cute and everything else. When you're getting a puppy, ask the people you get it from. What's in this dog's background?
Right.
What was the father like? What was the mother like? Is she hard-headed? Is she stuck? Don't be afraid to ask those questions. Because the reason I'm getting into this, you can't take a pasture horse and make it a racehorse. It's, oh man, look how fast that horse is. Well, I bred him with that other fast horse. I'm going to put him on the track.
Right.
No. Working dogs are bred generation after generation after generation of top working dogs. Bite work, tracking, obedience, work. That's the type dog you're getting. If you people out there happen to get a work line, know what you're getting into
Right.
before you get that dog.
That's
That's all I
right.
got to say about that.
Hmm.
Investigate, guys.
Another
Dig.
thing, uh,
Dig.
dogs get irritated from not understanding what's expected of them.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Frustration.
If you go to work and they say do this, you don't know what you're supposed to do. You get a little frustrated if you get yelled at.
Right.
So it goes back to placement. Show the dog what's expected
Correction.
first. Okay? Now, and I already touched base on this just a couple sentences back. All right. He could get frustrated from the method of correction that you're giving. He could be frustrated because that's the type dog he is from what? Generations back. What happened to this dog back in his generations? Like the thoroughbred horse. These horses run fast because generations back they were bred for speed. They're bred to run. Okay? Even your backyard dog, if the father was aggressive and the father before that was aggressive, them traits can go right down through that puppy. So research what you're getting. Okay? That's why when people want a working dog for personal protection, for police work, for ring sport, such as Schutzen and things like this, they go to top reputable breeders where they can show generations back his
And pay
bloodlines are
too.
all titled. Okay.
They're not for everybody, so you gotta pay. Right.
Now, like I brought this up too, all dogs will try to solve a conflict on their own. The best way they solve it is the only way they know how, through fighting with litter mates, fighting with their owner. They leash out and they nip. If you don't stop that nip, it's going to escalate. You're not going to stop a nip by correction, correction, correction. Figure out what works best for that dog. And it's like I always said, and I said this back in Texas. Well, I added something else to it in Texas, but always avoid a conflict at any cost, especially when you're working with a dog that could bite.
You slowly build your way up to those obstacles. You don't try to dive in head first. That's how you break
Exactly.
your neck.
Like Margaret was saying, I wouldn't try making a dog sit in that situation that she brought up. Nothing against you, Margaret. I would have the owner at one end of the leash. I would double leash that dog, owner and
Yeah.
me.
Do that before.
Then I
Yeah.
would have the owner drop the leash and me continue to walk next to the dog, no conflict. I'm not telling him to do anything. Then I would tell the owner, pick the other leash up, continue walking, and the trainer drop the leash and walk away. And the dog gets praised for not coming up at the handler or showing aggression.
A
This
loose leash.
way, you are showing the dog, wow, that's not bad. Now, I'm not saying the next time you do it, that you're going to tell that dog to sit and give him a correction. You're out of your damn mind.
Right.
He's got to get used to someone else handling him. Walk. Wow, this person ain't bad. Even walking, even if you got a sleeve on this hand, he's got a muzzle, whatever, and touch the dog. Hi, buddy. Very calm and continue walking. You didn't tell him to do anything. You just said, hi, buddy, good boy. And you're going to continue. So, what are you doing? You're praising that good behavior. You try taking a dog that you don't know
Mm-hmm.
and he's aggressive and it's going to be war. And
Yeah,
all you're doing is
check
heightening
your
that dog's anxiety. A lot of trainers believe in that. I'm going to knock him down and I'm going to start from scratch.
no.
See, I wasn't even thinking that either. I was just like, I'm just going to let him get used to me, and just telling him to sit got him fired up. So looking
If
back,
if
I
you
shouldn't have. I should have done the first whole lesson watching him work with the dog and that kind of thing. I have a lot more
Right.
experience now. I have so much experience now that I know I shouldn't even have been there.
right, well,
That was above my pay grade.
I'll tell you a little story. There was a dog in Texas, in Houston. This was back in the 80s. His name was Vito. He was a Doberman Pinscher Cross. And even the owner's name worked, well, I guess he just retired from the Imes company now. His name was Bud Most. Bud's a dear, he's a good friend of mine. I've known Bud for years. Vito, Bud had to actually lock himself in one of the kennels in the kennel area of the facility. And do you know why? Because he told Vito no, real firm. That was all it took. That dog was on guard and he was ready to go. Vito, smart as a whip, run obstacle courses, frontward, backward, sideways. Um, they sold Vito to a gentleman that I knew, and he said the same thing. Vito, no. And the dog came up at him, grabbed his hand, tore a bunch of tendons in his hand. I was there.
Yikes.
I grabbed Vito by the collar and I went to throw him into a closet. And the dog actually went parallel, come back down, and he had me by the wrist. I just held
Whoa.
on to his collar and I didn't move. Finally, the dog released and I let him back out. As long as he calmed down, Vito was fine. Sit down, stay, boom, 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 like a damn robot. You
But don't
tell
be
him
an asshole.
he was going to be a no, and he was coming. Where'd it come from? I don't know. Could have been from his genetics. I don't know, but it was there, you know. But it can happen. But all I'm saying, if it starts with a nip, if it starts with, if he's giving you a warning like, what do you want from me? He's frustrated. I, it could be you worked him too much. You overworked him. I'm tired of doing this. Maybe, okay? You have to ease him into working more. Don't ask too much from the get go. Take it
Positive,
easy.
upbeat
Take
attitude.
take it easy. Make it fun. Make it fun for a dog in obedience. But when a correction is warranted, feel your correction out. Don't just hammer them.
Right. Go to
Give
the
a little
media.
one. Nope. See what that does. That may be enough to get his attention and he respond to you. Don't escalate it to something higher. But it's
Right.
like we always say, don't just discipline folks. Teach right from wrong and now you have learning going on. If you just
Correction.
discipline,
Correction.
discipline, discipline, the dog becomes frustrated and he's going to lash out, no different than we will. And that's all I got for this show. But that's why a dog bites. 9 times out of 10, it's handler error,
Yep.
unless you got a very high strung working class dog.
Right.
that they're just, I got to do something. You're keeping me back. How many handlers get bit doing attack work and they're the handler? Coming
Not,
up behind their dog, grabbing them by the collar.
not
You
me.
know, it's frustration. You know, so that's all I got to say, folks. I hope you learned something this show. Margaret, do you have anything to add?
No, sir.
Ryan?
Sport work is fun. Take it to the next level, you know?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
it's not necessarily a personal security dog. You got to remember that these dogs are sporting dogs. A personal security dog is more like your police canine, and it doesn't need a sleeve to bite. Your
Right.
sport dogs are looking for a sleeve, you know?
They're looking
So
for a sleeve or the big bite suit.
have
I do
fun with
have
these
s-
dogs.
I do have something to add. I tell my clients all the time. I said, "How do dogs communicate with each other?" Like Bob was saying, with the nip, the bite, and the
Body
barks.
weight, pushing on each other.
Yeah, so you've seen them throw their butts into another dog. So the way that dogs, you have to think like a dog and get yourself into their mentality. Shut your mouth and just watch them,
Watch.
and you'll see it. You will definitely see it, and that's what they're going to do with you, because they don't know any other way but the way they learned when they were in their litter. Like Bob said, they're litter mates. So they're going to bark at you, they're going to nip at you, and they're going to do those kind of things to correct you.
That's their offensive playbook. You
So,
know,
Mm-hmm.
it even goes into you bring a new dog into your home. Make sure the dog is used to everyone. Don't try startling the dog because
Mm-hmm.
he's at edge anyway. So
all right. Yeah, keep
take it
little
easy.
kids away. Make sure that little kids aren't yelling and screaming and accidentally falling on your dog.
And
That's the
taught,
number one reason why kids get bit is because they've fallen on a dog.
and it's not
Mm-hmm.
that the dog wants to do it. It's a warning. It's the
Yeah,
only defense they have. So
pain.
remember,
Get off of me.
like, share,
Share,
subscribe.
subscribe.
Are we coming on Monday?
Back on Monday nights?
Back on Monday?
That sounds good to me.
Oh, wait a minute. She
Oh,
has
every
her.
third Monday or whatever, Margaret can't be here. So,
Yeah, one Monday a month.
do y'all
All
want to
right.
start making it on
So
Thursdays instead?
I don't care.
I don't care. We can do Thursdays if you want.
Let's
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 just
do
start making it
Thursdays.
a weekly Thursday thing.
All right. So folks,
Woo!
let's do it Thursday nights. All right.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Gotcha.
Like, share,
Share,
subscribe,
subscribe.
and
See you later.
leave us some comments.
Yes.
Leave comments at the bottom. Like when you click off, you'll see a place to leave a comment. Please leave us a comment. That's
Or
all
if
I
you got
got.
a video of your dog trying to bite you, hey, email it to me. I would love to see this and help you work through your problem.
How are they going to hold a camera with a nub?
Hey, let your partner video you while you're getting tore up by your dog.
See y'all later.
Yeah, guys.
Bye, guys.